Oh, you fell
I
down.
lost something.
We're trying, folks.
Oh, wait, did you hit yes on Instagram?
Yeah, you're good.
All right,
Speed.
welcome to the 2019 Regional Playoffs podcast here in Golden State, New York. We're coming to you live from the Long Island Podcast Studios, courtesy of producer Joe Muscadino in the back.
And Joe?
We've got
Thank you.
Phil Frezziello here from the Hammerheads.
How we
We've got
doing?
Anthony Caputo here from the Loft.
How we doing?
And we've got fellow regional director and the captain of the Hammerheads, Rob Laundrie. And I'm Anthony Diorio. I'm the players. Who finished in fourth place? Rob's team with Phil finished in third, and the Lot finished in seventh. And we'll go through plenty of everybody else's standings today. I just want to go around the table real quick. I want to say a few words, and welcome to the podcast. The first time we're doing this, so we're going to try to have a lot of fun. We're going to break down the matchups for this weekend. And I don't know, Phil, how you feel about being here?
I'm really excited. I'm ready to go. We got a lot to talk about, and it should be a fun weekend.
Excellent, that's great. What about you, Anthony? How you feel about this?
I second those exact sentiments. Excited about the podcast, first ever, and let's do it.
Come on, Rob, you third these sentiments.
I would third the sentiments. I'd also say it's nice to not be in a garage for any matches also. So,
I agree.
Agreed.
although I like my garage, it's a fine regional office, but this upgrade suits the bill for this region this year.
I agree. This is a good looking studio. Much better, much more temperature controlled than the garage.
Sure.
It's definitely not as hot.
Not as muggy.
No, and not bugging fest.
Zero smoke.
Very good. All right, so like mentioned earlier, this Sunday we have our regional playoffs in the New York region. 12 teams are going to play in the main bracket. We have 4 to 5 teams possibly playing the comeback up. We haven't finalized that yet. But today we're really going to focus on the top 12 that are playing this Sunday. We're going to go through each of the teams, talk about their season. We're going to go through the matchups. We're going to talk about some odds. We're going to bring in the numbers guy, talk about some stats, some standings, some leading, some numbers leaders. And then Rob and I will try not to talk too much smack about, all the other teams. All right. So, all right, let's get started. What's that first matchup, Phil?
Jump right in.
Let's get right
Number
into
5
it.
Screwballs against number 12 DEK.
Wow. So we've got I don't want to say middle age, but we've got some older statesmen in the Screwballs coming from Long Island against DEK, also a collection of veterans. Rob, what do you think about this matchup off the top of your head?
I would first note that Nick Tulo will not be there this week. They'll be playing as a 3 to 4 man.
Mhm.
I think they lose one of their better bats, one of their better arms.
Quality arm.
Screwballs, they're the Screwballs. It hasn't changed in, I think, 8 years they've been here with us, and it can be good one week, not so good the next, but if you give them a challenge in a tight spot, they're probably going to best you more times than not. I give the edge to the Screwballs, but I expect it to be a very tight game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think the Screwballs really are scrappy, and they've been playing West for years, so longer than some of the kids that have been playing on Sunday. I mean, they bring a lot of veteran leadership, and they pick each other up, but they also put each other down in a comical way that also brings them back up. So they're definitely a challenger to win on Sunday. From a numbers perspective, Anthony, who do you think had the edge in this matchup?
That would be tough, especially with Chech on one side and Vinny on the other. Chech batting .506 on the year, which you could actually consider that a down year. There's a guy who bats .560 in his sleep.
It's a beast.
He did not win the batting title for probably the first time in a long time.
He made it close, though. He made it
He
close.
did.
to
He
us.
made a big comeback last week.
Vin still had a strong year though. He batted .435, 520 OBP. The guy is just a beast all the time. Doc still pitching like the ace that he is.
Mhm.
So it's really tough to say.
Who do you think starts that game? Because remember, so we'll get into it a little bit later, but the format for the playoffs is the first round is 7 inning golden games, which means you have to pitch 2 different guys, 4 innings and 3 innings.
I'd be starting Doc.
I would,
He's the wild card.
I would
If
start
Doc
Doc as well.
pitches well, he's not going to get hit
I agree.
because he's
But then,
very effective.
Then you got to finish with Vin. I think sometimes.
Yeah, but that could help them because his stuff is so different from Doc's. It's just
No doubt, but he gets into a tight game situation. He is the guy throwing, a very slow speed, and
So would you think that maybe starting Venus might be a better decision? Because then you kind of come in, first game of the day, all you've seen is a bunch of junk, a bunch of knuckleballs, and then he gets through 3, maybe 4 if he pitches well, and then all of a sudden Doc comes in and just lights out with
That
his
could be true,
knuckleball
too.
and his nasty
Yeah.
stuff.
You can make an argument for both. Start with the lefty, slower, start them off slow, and then bring in Doc.
they feast on
With a different look.
knuckleballs and the
And
screwballs.
hopefully
Yeah.
you bank on an early lead with your bats.
I always think in a situation when you're playing a golden game, a lot of times you start the 2, because if you get lucky and he pitches well, you can maybe squeeze another inning out of him, which saves your ace, maybe not necessarily for later, but gives you less looks in a tight game late. I mean, you gotta win the game, so a lot of times it is what it is. What their issue is, they don't have any backup. The kids
Right.
aren't gonna be pitching, so if they do get into trouble, the Screwballs do have 3 arms, at least can piece it together. If someone gets knocked out after 2, someone can still go an inning or 2 to get
Yeah.
Johnny out
That's
there.
All can pitch.
where the loss of Nifman really hurts, because the Screwballs, like I said, they're so adept at hitting knocks that you spray the ball the other way all game.
Yeah, I mean, he also led the team in homers at 360. Nifman, slugged almost
Wow.
600. He had a really good,
Had a really good
year
season.
for that. He's certainly a lightning rod type player.
But you gotta go to WrestleMania, SummerSlam when you have the chance.
I mean, where is SummerSlam that he's going?
Toronto.
Oh, okay.
The
That's
odds
the
have the
that's the trip.
Screwballs at 165, so minus 165.
Minus one.
yeah.
Screwball's favored, minus
Yes.
165.
And the winner of that
That's
match.
a tough one.
Where did the winner of that match go?
That's the 5-12, so the winner playoffs, the players.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, which is again, I
It's
think
an important series.
I feel like whoever
Yeah.
wins
Important
that,
game.
I mean, not that I'm trying to take the high road here, but the winner of that against us, I mean, it's a toss-up. We face each other a million times.
Sure.
So, I mean,
That's an
these
exciting
Screwballs have
couple
had our.
games.
They're thinking that's a cushy matchup.
Yeah,
I'll speak for
I mean,
them.
you
Not against
guys
the
talk so
Screwballs.
much smack about our strength of schedule, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the standings and 10-run rule is 100 points, 1-4 super qualifiers, it's the race of how do you avoid 10-run rule? And the bracket is what it is. You see your road, but the other side is just as difficult
That's
throughout.
true. We are on the 10-run rule side, which is gonna, well, you know what, we gotta get there, right? I mean, if I'm looking at a 10-run rule semifinal matchup, I'm pretty happy that I got through a round, so.
For sure.
Can't complain about that.
Mhm.
All right, so picks. Who you got, Rob? Screwballs, dead end kids tonight, this Sunday.
Let's see. I have Screwballs taking it down in a pretty low-scoring game, I think, for a 7-inning game. I think it might be like a 5-3 game
Okay.
over that span of innings.
Caputo.
I'm leaning
I'm gonna write these
Screwballs.
down so we can make sure we talk smack about you, how much you're wrong.
Sure.
This is no slight, of course, to any teams that I do not pick to win.
Mhm.
But I
Well,
will
it's just-
Even though everyone will take it that way.
Of course, of course. I will lean Screwballs, in an also tight game, maybe 6-4.
Okay. 5-3, 6.
Rob's score was interesting, because
Phil,
I had
what
the
do you
over
think?
under at like 8.5.
Wow.
There you go. Hey,
That's fair.
side
Yeah,
bet.
But
because
you
I
would-
thought it was gonna be low scoring too.
But I feel like, again, though, you gotta take into consideration, we haven't played golden games really all year.
Right.
So that endurance of a 7-game, one game that is 7 innings, takes a long time.
Yeah.
Mentally, you gotta stay into a 7 innings.
I think having the kids involved in their first playoff is a little tough for them.
It's tough to turn over the lineup
That's
when you
very
have.
true.
And the Screwballs slap the ball all over the place.
Yeah, but OC's played in really big games.
No, he's
Yeah, he's played really good, though.
No,
No, yeah,
I agree. Not at all.
Kid, he's young. You can't
I
expect-
have the
can't expect a
Screwballs
lot.
too, but it's gonna be really close. The Nifman not being there really hurts them. Like you said, it's an extra arm that you can't go to now in a
Right.
sticky situation.
That's
So
tough.
if Nifman was there, I think the odds would have been totally different. But I had the Screwballs,
Score?
7-5.
Wow, we're just keeping with this.
Phil taking the over.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Over.
5-3, 6-4, 7-5, so should I just make it Screwballs 8-6 at this
I
point?
never
Or-
saw, I never saw an over I
No,
didn't
you
like.
gotta be the,
so.
I mean, it's hard for me to pick against Doc and Venus, but it's also hard for me to pick against
It is really
three
hard.
Italian
It's
batters.
so hard to pick
To
against
the,
Doc and
to the
Vegas.
contrary, like if you're gonna take DK, like they're gonna win a game and do anything, it's gonna be that game, and then that might be it for them. So like they might put all their balls into one basket and maybe even get through that one game
Yeah.
with the kids, get them that experience that they need. These games are always toss-ups. no
Well, I
matter
hate to
what.
be so diplomatic, but you could not be surprised by any score of any game.
Agreed.
It's
So
yard.
this is the year of parity.
Yeah.
All right, so Phil takes the Screwballs 7-5. I'm gonna take the Screwballs as well, I guess, 7-4.
Wow,
I'll
clean.
combine. Yeah, well, now they have Baltimore material for DK, so you never know.
Well, this whole segment's both been
We actually have another podcast tomorrow where we're gonna totally change everything. We can come up with that. It's gonna be tomorrow around 8
Well,
p.m.
Nifman or not, DK was 15-20 on the year, Screwballs 25-22. And no matter how you slice it, you're taking the Screwballs tight game or not.
True, DK did squeak into the playoffs of the 12 seed. All right, so
Thanks to the lot. Well, they won 2 games against a game changer,
Well,
so huge.
you know, Falcon almost spent about $2,000 just trying to get his team into regionals.
that guy's got patch.
We'll talk about that.
To play the Screwballs
We
too,
will
and
get
they
to
would
that
have-
too.
All right, we'll go to the next matchup here. Got a couple of, I wouldn't say new teams in the league, but definitely they were in their infancy of Golden Stick still. We have the 6 seed Bronx Royals and we have the 11 seed Storm, also from the Bronx. These guys used to play each other against each other in Palisades with Football League, and now they brought that rivalry right here to Golden Stick, and I think it's a healthy rivalry. I wouldn't say they don't like each other, but I would say that, you know, the older veteran guys on the Bronx Royals definitely,
Battle of the Bronx.
yeah, but they really want to like stick it to the young kids of the Storm, and the Storm are these young up and coming kids, you know, anywhere between 18 and 25 years of age on this team. They're young guys, they're fiery, they want to beat the Bronx Royals on a big stage. And the best part about this Golden Game format in the 7-inning game, really anything can happen. And I don't know, I like Storm's chances a little bit in this game. What do you think, Rob?
This is the matchup I think most people are interested in. Storm had unbelievable season by their standards. They're probably their first season above 500, probably their first season anywhere close. I mean, they've played for 3, 4, almost 5 years. I mean, correct me, it's at least 3 years they've been in the league, probably 4, to some capacity. And they've only gotten better each year. Sammy and Mike, they played Palisades for years. They understand the game like anyone. And it's great that they've kept it in-house. Adding Ryan Patrone this year has been huge. Goal Rookie of the Year. Just want to remind everyone who's interested in fall ball. That's the minor league system right
I mean,
now.
hot take, I think Ryan Patron could be Rookie of the Year in the summer this year. to
No
be honest,
doubt.
The way he's played.
No doubt.
Finlay.
We'll talk to that later. Yeah, talk about that later.
Jake.
Yeah,
Jake.
I want to add a few things to that too. Like, you know, I mean, the fact that they've, you know, had some big wins this year. The fact that they've Storm, that is, you know, they beat the enemy. They've made it to a Final Four. So they've shown they can play with some good teams. But
Didn't Jake play last year on the Crusaders?
I'm not talking about Jake. I'm talking about Storm.
No,
He,
that's what
like,
Rob said.
subbed a couple
Oh,
of
Jake
times.
Baddock?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was their
Okay.
friend as well. Yeah.
We'll
No,
discuss
they
it
found
once
him in
later.
Palisades Minors.
Yeah.
That makes more
Yeah.
sense. Okay. All right, and then, but back to Storm, you know.
Sorry.
You know, they've also overcome Sammy Perez's injury from the first week of the year when he got hurt diving over a wall, but he's been fine. But just to be able to, that team coming together, I like their chances. I don't know, what do you think, Phil?
Royals minus 150.
Wow,
That's what the
that's
odds
what it
say.
says, Royals minus
That's what
150.
Vegas says.
That's
I
what
mean,
Vegas
you know,
says.
the Royals
You
have.
could say Atlantic City now, too.
Atlantic City,
Say Atlantic
yeah,
City.
that's
I
true.
don't always say what Vegas says.
True.
Oh, jeez.
It's true.
Maybe that's what
I didn't
Jason
say
said.
he did, but
Where's Mr. AC? He's not here when I'm
You know,
talking.
thankfully
when I'm
he's not
talking
here.
East shots. Yeah, that's fair.
You know, I feel like there's just so much about this matchup that we don't know about because we never really, I mean, I didn't play in Palisades, you guys did for a little bit, but I never really watched them face each other in Palisades, so I don't know how far back this rivalry goes, how much maybe there's some deep-rooted, like, Kazada Pace rivalry kind of stuff going on, like, I don't
No,
know.
not
Not
really.
really.
Actually, Patron came from Palisades as well, and correct me if I'm wrong, he may have played with the Bronx
they
Royals
did.
at some point.
They did.
And,
They did.
you know, they used him, he played goal this past year, he lives on Long Island, and for years I've said, you know, you should be playing here, you know, along with Palisades, because he was always, you know, just kind of a Florida player, not always there, so, you know, now he's committed, and he's here most of the time. The guy hit .419.
It's really good.
He
It's really good for
won
your first time of the year.
5 games as a rookie against very strong teams. I saw a video the other day, or I think Mike Kazada posted, of him throwing a nasty nut. I haven't faced Storm all year. It's the only team we haven't faced. So, I believe the winner of this matchup does play the Hammerheads, so I will recuse myself from any predictions.
Oh, I didn't recuse myself from any predictions from the screwball team.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm-
That's
outrageous.
outrageous. That's
No,
a
that's
you
ridiculous.
problem.
I'm gonna go with the Royals just because they have so many players that have been there before, so.
Well,
Not that the Storm hasn't,
Well, I
but
wanna-
not in.
no pace this week.
I wanted to.
Oh, no,
no
wait a minute,
pace.
you didn't tell us that.
Sorry.
Yeah, again, this
apologize.
guy's not, he's just not
That's so
disseminating
big.
information.
Hey.
So,
How if nobody?
so wait a minute, who's their second pitcher? Vin and then who?
Vin, Pace.
No, Pace
Bumpy.
isn't there.
Oh, no, right, sorry. So their roster this week should be Vin, Bumpy,
Nick?
Nick Freddie.
Freddie.
think that they're
Wait,
playing as a
no.
three-man.
How many guys do they have?
They have.
No, they cut Gray, they had to cut Gray.
I'm so
And they
cut
cut
it.
Nick, I believe.
They cut-
Since he's not
Oh,
here.
so Nick's out of the
Their
equation.
5-man roster is Vin, Bumpy, Pace.
So the cutting
Nick,
I don't
of,
know.
no, I got
Nick
it.
and Freddie.
I
Mike
had
Gray
nothing
is
to
out
do
of the
with
The
this
equation.
roster all
cutting
year, to be
of
honest with you.
Freddie ended up being the cutting of Gray.
Correct.
Okay, I got it.
Yes.
That's originally what it was gonna be.
So
but
it's-
since Pace couldn't come this
it's-
week, and they're like, well, Freddie and
So
him-
it's gonna be Vin and Freddie probably.
Vin, Freddie, yeah,
To pitch.
yeah.
Yeah, probably the Royals.
Well, as
It's
long
gonna
as-
be really close.
Well, I think so. You know, Vin's a guy that apparently people talked about being coming a little hot out of the arm, so maybe he's gonna watch that speed a
No
little bit.
different out of Mr. Freddie.
Yeah, that's what I
Wow,
heard.
So then, you know,
And
Bronx
no
Royals
different
better be on
from,
their game.
no different from Mr. Patron as well, I've heard the same, so.
I heard
This-
Chris was
So
throwing heat.
a,
I heard Chris was
Shelkoff?
throwing heat. I heard
Yeah,
Shelkoff
I'm
was
sure he
throwing
will. I
heat.
bet he was.
Like,
I didn't
like,
even know he pitched, to be honest.
An unnamed
Well,
person,
you can throw.
an unnamed person had him throwing like 80.
Well,
Unnamed because you just heard it, or unnamed?
No,
because
I
of
don't
your
wanna name
sources?
the person.
I need to know your sources.
Well, another hot take, we may have acquired a, device.
For judging speeds. I think the
That's
Royals
true.
in a really close
I didn't
game.
know we were gonna bring that up. I thought we were gonna just show
Yeah,
up.
it's
We were gonna show up Sunday and be like, hey, here's our nice new
Bumpy is a
equipment.
I
really
didn't say
good
that.
hitter, so I'm gonna go with the good hitter. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with the good clutch hitter and Bumpy, in a close and late.
I'm gonna go with Storm.
Yeah?
I'm gonna go with Storm.
Before my pick, I would also like to point out that the Storm went 4-18 last year.
Wow, that's a very good.
What a
point.
turnaround. Well,
I guess
So,
they are the most
the adding
improved
of
team, right?
Patron and.
Well, what's their
just,
record this year?
16 and 15.
16 and 15.
Wow, that's a 12 win improvement. And
It's easily the best.
over 500.
Yeah.
they added another
Big
player.
player.
Them
too,
and
that's
the
played
game
really well.
changers made basically the big sleeves. But-
Game changers.
Game
definitely.
changers are having actual players, which has
Yeah.
been,
But,
Yeah.
exciting.
I'm gonna have to go with the Storm
Mm.
because Patron is just on another level, and I think Quezada is
Is
coming
Patron
into
coming?
his
I don't know
own.
what they're, I mean, there's been weeks where Patron isn't there, he only has.
Well, I'm gonna go on the record.
He's got
and say
26
I'm-
games, I think he only missed 1 week.
I wanna go on the record and say I'm rooting for Storm in this game.
Yeah, I mean,
I wanna see these kids win.
I'm a Sammy Perez guy.
Yeah, I mean, they're a
So-
likable team. Not that the Bronx Royals aren't likable, really.
No, of course not.
We don't know who's showing up half
No,
the
I
years.
agree.
So
No,
the
but-
Storm are a very likable bunch of guys.
You just can't root against the Storm.
Yeah.
Pace
So-
not being there is really good for us because the last time I faced him, he had
Give me
like
the
5
Storm.
hits off, so that's good.
And still gonna recluse.
No, I'll take, I think the Royals, have a slight edge, just because their hitting ability. You know, Vin is a very fiery player, give him something to play for, you know, they are not a tough out, they've played us very tough all year. I haven't played Storm once all year, I honestly don't know, I can't
Yeah, we haven't
even
played them
speak
either.
for their vast
Yeah,
improvement.
we have not played
Not
them.
to say I'm not rooting for them, that they're a Cinderella, they're a team that people want to win.
The
They're a
Royals
good
beat
luck
us in the
story.
Final Four, so we know what they're capable of.
I think this is just a game that will be live streamed on Sunday.
I
This
agree.
is- This is the matchup, that people wanna see, just for the, you know, Battle of the Bronx, they've had experience in different leagues, and this is what WIF is about, is putting these guys
Freddie
together
and
play.
Van are very intense players, so if the Storm
Well-
want, they gotta
Well,
turn up the intensity.
They will only be on live stream if Freddie does not wear jeans to the regional playoff and play in jeans. It's just an absolute uniform violation.
When did that
Travis
happen?
Roy,
Oh.
this weekend,
Really?
it is this weekend, I believe.
Wait, what does the jeans have to do with Travis Roy?
Fine, $15, Travis Roy.
Yeah, $15.
Oh,
Uniform
we're gonna find
violation.
him. Oh, I thought you meant I thought he went to Travis
$15.
Roy and showed up wearing jeans.
$15, Travis Roy.
We gotta go up there one year, man. I'm really disappointed.
There's a waiting list at this point.
Yeah,
If
it's
you know a
really-
guy who knows a guy to get us in.
Yeah, well, the guy we know is kinda high up.
Oh,
That's fair.
Yeah, he's been important. What about Kyle Griner? You mentioned the other day. Doesn't he still go work for them?
I don't know if he still goes, he lives in Georgia now, I don't know if he still goes, they went for years and years. I think last year might have been their last year.
I miss Kyle, we knew Kyle back.
Good guy, good guy. I
Yeah.
hope,
He's
Don
the leader
Thomas,
now.
hopefully he's on there, who was,
Yeah.
most recently
Oh, yeah,
on the television.
good people.
Good guy.
All right, so we're 2 matchups in. We've got some picks. So we're gonna move on to the first matchup where somebody in the studio is physically participating in this football game. That's the 7-seed lot against the 10-seed enemy. And first you may say, the enemy are a 10 seed? Did they
Not play.
just not play, right? Did they just show up to events and qualify? Did they have no pass? Well, I guess, you can argue that. Did they not show up and just say they weren't gonna show up? They didn't. They actually showed up almost every event this year. And, they had a down year. They're a 10 seed in the regional players. They're routinely the 1 or the 2, and if not favorites for winning the championship. And this year, I didn't have them as the favorite to win it because they haven't shown me all year that they can even put it together to win an event. I don't even think they've made it a finals in an event. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They have
no,
not,
the
they
enemy
have
have
not
not
even
made a
made a Final
single-
Four.
Final 4.
I don't believe
No.
they've made a Final Four.
No,
That's confirmed.
they've acquired no bonus points.
They've the enemy. I want to clarify this.
Yeah.
You just said the enemy didn't make a Final Four all year.
That is
Did they win the
correct.
national championship last year?
Yep.
They did.
Wow. So Anthony, how do you feel about this matchup? Let's get your first take right here.
Yeah.
It's a little tough. We do not have Sean, nor do we have Gerard.
That's addition by
So
subtraction.
I want to point out,
Some
not
would
to
argue
interrupt you,
that.
that's like
Yep.
the third team we talked about not having a full roster
Yeah.
for regionals. This
No
is,
Pash.
This is tough.
Zero passion.
Yeah,
This is
it's
tough
tough.
to say.
It's
Try to
tough.
look at every camera for that.
Zero bash.
Zero.
Losing Gerard is addition by subtraction. He's
Yeah, but G-
really
Yeah, but
toxic.
in a one game, 7 inning game, he can really hit anybody and be the offense. Excuse me, if this team needs to win.
Yeah, if the temperature's right and he's hydrated and fed and
Hey, you got this bat for me?
Yeah,
You got this
so-
monster for me? I bet this
their
butter roll for me.
remaining 3 players are very good hitters though, so.
Yeah.
Who's showing up for the enemy? Kevin.
Sean and Ty.
Ty.
I don't know Joe's deal.
I don't know if Joe
And
is
D-Wade
playing.
obviously can't play.
D-Wag is not
So-
Or
qualified.
not qualified.
Purcell
Joe is
has
qualified and hit 237.
Yeah, he stinks too.
Pete
Wow.
Slater has to be a comeback player of the year.
I'm sorry, I've
I
never,
mean, he did hit 130.
I can't,
last
I'm
year,
never betting
so-
against the
Yeah.
enemy.
No,
I know, this is why it's a tough
fair.
game. I wanna pick the lot from the homer perspective, but I mean, you're gonna tell me the enemy aren't gonna,
Maybe-
are gonna, is this is what, their
Let's-
6th event and they're not gonna show up?
Think about this realistically. You're
Yeah.
gonna tell me Norris and Ty are not going to outpitch. No offense to, of course, my teammates, Pete and Taco. I think they'd be the first to tell you that they would not be able to outpitch them.
Well,
But
what if-
again, we could also hit
Who,
better than them.
who would not be able to outpitch them? Your team would not be able to outpitch
Correct,
against them?
correct.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But
But-
here's 2 factors going in your favor though. The fact that you're playing them the first game of the day, and the enemy historically have not been very good early in the
Yeah,
day.
no, we've
They're
beaten
an
them.
elite team.
We've
And you've
beaten
beaten them, right? So there's the 2 factors right there.
It's not like they have our number.
You gotta get on them early.
All close games.
Early and often. You really gotta score runs though. It's impossible to beat a team like the enemy or a team like 10 run rule like 1 or 2 nothing. Like I feel like you gotta put up 4, 5 runs, and cause you're gonna give up 2 or 3, no matter
Of
how you
course.
slice it.
Of
Ty's gonna hit a
course.
home run, Kevin's gonna hit a solo shot, Sean's gonna they're gonna get theirs, especially in a 7 inning game. So I think you gotta come out strong early. Who are you
If
gonna
don't
start?
score, you're gonna lose. You're right.
Who you gonna start?
That's
He can't
undecided.
divulge that.
That's
Yeah,
undecided.
just
Just
try
try
to-
just try to pry. Just try to pry.
Come on.
I would pitch all 3 of them, but
That,
that's just me.
that's been discussed.
That's very fair. That's a
Yeah.
fair.
I mean, I
You
think
gotta
a
show
lot
them
of,
everything.
I think a lot of the enemies struggle. I mean, if you look at the numbers, I mean, the majority of the games they lost, Kevin was not on the mound. And I don't know if that was strategic, where you're trying to limit Kevin's innings for those final 4 games, something like that, but they haven't been able to get to that point. And I wonder if it's, start starting these games with Kevin so that you can actually get a lead. Because that's something that, if the enemy have a lead, they don't usually give it up. They're a team that they lose 1-2-0 games because you scored and it stayed 0-0 for the first 2 innings and you finally scratched a run. And you guys saying that you gotta score runs to beat the enemy, at the
You
same
do.
time, if the enemy are scoring runs, there's a good chance they're gonna score more than you in that game.
Yeah,
It's
no
when the
doubt.
game, especially when you play super qualifier games that are quick 4 inning games, if you get through the first 2 innings and 0-0, now all it takes is 1 run and now you're on your heels.
Would you believe me if I told you that Norris only had 5 home runs on the year?
Nope. I wouldn't believe you.
I had more than that.
Wow, more than that.
You also played twice as many games.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but he's killing.
they
he's
played
GG though.
on a lot of fields where the wind was blowing it.
So did a lot of
I don't
people.
wanna hear
A
these
lot of the.
excuses.
Okay, but the idea that the enemy as a team would not hit home runs is,
So
No,
you
it's
can tell me-
ridiculous.
You can tell me the team.
They still had
Kevin Owens.
22 as a team. That's probably much more than most teams.
yeah, but what I'm saying is
I
if they're on a
disagree.
field with the
22
wind blowing out.
As a team, and how many, they played.
Well, those 2
they
guys
played,
hit
what,
more than that
5
together.
events? That's a minimum of 4 games. They played 5 games, so they averaged 4 home runs per
So
event.
it's some team leaders.
I guess is that a lot?
They've played
They missed
25
one
games,
event,
'cause
right?
Ty has the most games played.
And they
so
have
say
22.
played
Missed one
25
event.
games.
If there was ever a team to not pay attention to the stats, it would be them.
Oh, no
Oh,
doubt.
I definitely-
They know what they need to, this
Right.
is all for banter, come on. They are
It-
not in the top 5 in home runs.
Are they gonna treat regionals like the Open? Obviously not. So
We've been
that's
I
the
saying
question.
disagree. I think they need a tune-up, and I think they know that they need a tune-up, but they're not just gonna show up at the open and win.
Why they
10
did
games.
last year.
They just
No,
gotta
but
be
they
where we-
also.
Yeah, but no, they got
won
hot the
events
second
like-
half, yeah.
Remember that event in Mass last year? That turned, we've been waiting
Yeah.
for that since week 3.
Mhm.
After week 3, we're like, all right, the enemy's gonna turn it on now.
We're waiting to
And
all
then-
be on a field and just hear crack, 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 and be like, oh, that's the 36th home run they hit today, and that did not happen.
Well, it might be Sunday, so good luck, everyone.
They have the switch. Flip it whenever you want.
What is Atlantic City?
Enemy minus 290.
Oh my God!
Very heavy favorite.
That is very
That-
favorite.
It was
Yeah.
minus 500 earlier. I'm glad you came down from that. That's
Well, they're missing 2 players, and one of their players is a borderline ace. He
Yeah, but
does
like
throw.
you said,
He
addition
throws
by
hard.
subtraction.
Yeah. Well, what were McCray's numbers this year? I mean, McCray had some really good pitching.
90 miles an hour. That was his numbers this year.
10-8 with a 2.04 ERA. With
Okay.
a 1.23 WHIP.
Wait, 10-8.
Yeah.
You pitch every game?
It's 18 games.
19 games.
That's all
He
that's-
missed 2 tournaments.
I agree. Oh, I mean, you could pitch 2 games in pool play, you pitch 2 games in
You could
playoffs,
pitch-
possibly, plus an
So
extra game.
that hurts them even more than I thought.
He pitches 2 games
He's
in
their
group.
workhorse as well.
Yeah.
Pitches 2
you-
games in
yeah.
group and pitches 2 games at least after that, a playoff
Yeah.
game and then
That's so many
probably
games.
most likely an exit game.
All right, would you believe
So many
me
games.
if I said that the enemy as a team had the 8th most home runs as a team in the New York region, 12th if you add Massachusetts. So there's 4 teams in just Massachusetts that had more than them.
I guess 8th.
Plus.
I mean, that doesn't sound as bad, 8th, knowing that we have 20 teams, but that is definitely much lower than I thought, though.
And I really
New
don't
York
know.
Royals right under them.
I don't know anything about the Massachusetts
Everyone
region
else
either.
does.
I don't know the fences.
They
I
play
don't
with
know the-
football?
I don't know the
Wow.
situation. I
Yeah,
don't know the
it's
wind
fine.
situation. So we don't know what those numbers look like.
No, I played up there 1 week. It's a pretty straightforward.
And the
field.
grass is really slow.
It
That's
is,
all
the
I
You
grass
know.
gotta
is
hit
very
home
slow.
runs. They usually have
Now-
short-
Yeah, it's home run or nothing.
I only played at one field, and the other time they played, they played on the same field. But then the first 2 events, I think they played at the old Pingree
Pingree
School.
or
I want to say.
something, or-
This one was at a different field. It was at Dot Street in Beverly. This is the field that Lou runs. It's a Little League field. Grass was super high, but it was fields facing both
It was
directions.
the one we played on last year when me, you, and Diz went.
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
With the yellow.
I drove. No, it was just like a blacktop driveway that drove down, and then you parked under the trees, and then there was just grass with 2 baseball fields and a shack. I don't think it was.
Maybe it was different.
I think this might have been maybe when we pulled over randomly to play with that day. Looks more like
Right.
when we pulled over on the way home, 5-hour drive home.
Yeah, so I have the enemy.
Okay.
That being said, everything being said.
Yeah, I'll take the enemy as well because I actually like the enemy to win. The whole
They're
thing,
just
so.
missing too many players.
Yeah, I have to take the enemy.
Anthony, who
You don't have to, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask me.
All right.
I'll take the enemy.
You gotta take yourself, otherwise you're gonna.
No, of course, taking myself.
Yeah. Bet on yourself. The odds are good. You're gonna win a lot of money.
I mean, listen.
The only team to bet on.
Didn't you say it earlier? It's the year of parity, right?
Yeah,
So
no, not concerned.
in one way where it wouldn't surprise me if the enemy won the whole thing, it wouldn't surprise me if you guys beat them like 7-6.
We don't want the easy route.
Yeah, well, you're not gonna get it.
You wanna be tested on a day like, it only prepares you for the open. I mean,
So-
regional playoff is for bragging rights in New York. We played 6 grueling weeks and some bad weather, some hot
And
weather,
then
cold
winter
weather.
gets dark nights, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be fun either way.
Yeah.
I agree. That'd be good. It'll be a defending champion essentially playing the Dark Knights who've had their best year, and then upcoming lot against the Dark Knights who've had a good year. Kind of want to put them back in their place.
Hopefully.
Sure.
That would be nice. All right. So we're 3 matchups in.
Mm.
Our final matchup is the artist formerly known as the Lemonheads, now known as POC, also known as Piss Off Connor, in case anyone was curious what POC was standing for.
So-
The 8 seed. Before we even get to who they're facing, the throwbacks, the Lemonheads joined the league late. Came in with a flurry, making it to a finals, making it to a 3rd place game, making it to another 3rd place game, going 0-3 1 week, somehow making it into the cut, and then making it to the finals. Like, unbelievable
You're welcome.
4 weeks that this team has had.
They hit.
Yeah, they definitely
They
rate.
hit.
It's really
Um,
unbelievable.
And then, and we'll get more into them in a second. And then we have the throwbacks, the number 9 seed, owner John Denaro, JD, with Dan Moore, Brian Wynn, and Jake Baddick. You know,
Scrappy.
for me, this is an 8-9 matchup, but to me, these teams are going in opposite directions.
I disagree, but I wanna hear your take.
Well, I mean,
I would agree.
I faced the throwbacks the last few events, and we've beaten them, and that doesn't mean anything. But I just sense this. I don't know. It's a long season playing together. It's their first time all playing together. Maybe it's some in season like, oh, we got to get used to it. We got a little we're having down. We're not bringing each other up.
Both of these teams are kind of relatively new together cores. being
Well, but I
together.
think the Lemonheads have played together in other formats.
They have.
So,
Okay, so.
I think putting JD with these 3 guys is a new season, considering JD played with guys from the Dead End Kids for a long time, guys like Petty and and Doc and FK and Venus, and now he's playing with 3 young kids. I think the team has had some issues. I mean, I'm not trying to say this like they don't like each other, but I just think that there's some interesting dynamics on that team, and they're just not performing well, and I think they're going downward into the playoffs compared to the Lemonheads, who even though it didn't make the last event, have come in and pretty much been steady the whole time, and haven't shown that they can't hit anybody, so I wanna hear your take now, mister. I disagree.
We faced them in the playoffs. We got quick ones off JD, and then Jay came in
Yeah.
and pitched real well.
Yeah.
JD is gonna be their wild card because he had his best hitting season, batted 340. I don't know the number.
Yeah,
He was
he
like
360 going
5th
into
in
the last
hits.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
JD
he,
batted 328.
okay, so 330.
Best
No
year
BP
by
of
far.
420.
If he has a knock working, they're in a lot of trouble. POC.
Well,
I have POC minus 120 or a pick 'em
But
based
what
on
about,
what you.
if we're
what you
talking
look at.
about pitching, then what about Dan Moore's acquisition on throwbacks? Is he not a good
I don't know what their,
I think that's where,
rotation's gonna
that's
be.
where JD as the elder statesman on the team, I mean, Winnie's there to hit and tell him what to do, and that's it. He's not there to pitch and fight with the strategery of the game. That's
Right.
JD's role in this team. He brought in two really good rookie players and had them playing really well throughout most of the season. And where he needs to come in now, especially in a pressure situation, which neither of these kids have really been in, is to understand where he needs to step in and understand where he needs to step back and let those kids play. He needs to run the team and manage the team, but not overmanage anything, because these kids have talent. He needs to use them in the right way, and it's up to him to use them the right way, because they're gonna do what he asks, because they've been nothing but great teammates all year, and JD's been nothing but great to them, and they've reaped the benefits. They're the 8 seed. If you said at the beginning of the year, I don't think you would have thought that,
No.
considering what we
That's
knew of the team.
100%
Not at
correct.
all.
They were projected very low, if I
We
remember.
Yeah, I
were
had
projected
it.
By
12.
somebody who made that list.
I had a discussion with John and I said they could be right in the middle, right in the thick of things.
Yeah.
And, that's what they do. John's, goal is for them to get as high as they can. They play all these weeks. They treat every event as something very important. And that's what we love to see. And that's why there's teams that are in the playoff bracket that are there for a reason.
I agree.
Well, last year when I played with Wayne, every time we needed a big hit, he got it, so that's gonna be a
He's
humongous
really
factor.
good
for
at
them.
hitting the ball the
I
other
think
way
it's
as well.
John's game, this game. If they're gonna win, it's gonna be because he pitched really well and he hit really well. So I kinda like having pick 'em. I would pick the throwbacks. Really, really close game.
I don't know.
Nothing against the Lemonheads, who I
I don't
love.
know.
Jake
they hit.
Jake hit 350, Moore hit 214, and Winnie hit 256, along with JD's 328.
They're not going to
They
score
all-
runs.
No, they're a what? I'm saying that's a 2-1 game. I think throwbacks.
But the Lemonheads as a team, their worst hit is 277.
Have they faced each other this year? Did the Lemonheads face the throwbacks?
Yeah,
Check for
yeah,
it
they
real
have.
quick.
They
I think
played.
they did, right?
They played in the playoffs. Lemonheads beat them.
That's correct, because
Yeah,
that's the
just
week
the
they
last,
beat us.
that wasn't just the last,
No,
the last event that
Right.
the Lemonheads
Oh,
played.
no. The week they
This is a
beat
really
us.
tough matchup.
Oh no, the week we beat us. we
It can
lost.
go so many ways.
Yeah.
So JD's a feast or famine pitcher.
Yep.
We know that, but if he could shut them down, frustrate for 2 innings. Now you bring in two, very good pitchers that
Wait, Max is 4.
Max is 4.
I think
They have
John's-
3 arms.
I think he's gonna pitch 4 innings.
The Lemonheads,
If that's what I mean. If you start John, he's pitching well. You can go as long as you can with him. That only
100%.
lessens the pressure on someone like Jake or Dan, who might have to pitch the 7th inning with
Split 'em up.
everything on the line.
I agree. Having a kid like Jake only having to pitch 3 instead of 4 innings, I think is a big deal. 'Cause I feel like he can give it a little more and kind of really loosen up and just throw it out.
But-
He has to go so long in the game. Really only going the last 3 innings.
But Mora went toe for toe with Stan at the indoor tournament. Not like it's it's not the
No,
Open,
it's still
but
history.
they still wanna win that, you wanna win that tournament. I mean, you wanna win every one you go to. So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, it's fine. Lemonheads beat the Throwbacks 3-2, June 9th.
yeah, like
Two
you said,
solo,
low
shot,
scoring.
two solo shots from Tim and Ray on Lemonheads.
It's if
They're gonna
I
hit.
think that's the week that they beat us when we were the 1 seed, and then they went on that run when they were 0-3. I think that was the first event, June 9th. They
That
went-
was 'cause
they went
I
0-3
dropped
and
the
then
ball.
went 3-3 in the playoffs. Yeah, and then that was
I was
bad.
playing with one
A
arm.
lot of people were watching that. Yeah, you were playing with one arm. That's fair because you're a guy that's got passion.
Gritty
but
gutty.
You still
Gritty gutty.
didn't make the play though, so.
No, he didn't. He
I
did
tried
a
to
lot.
catch it.
In fact,
like-
he did that a lot this year.
Well,
I tried to catch it like a football,
Yeah.
like a body catch, and the
oh, we
ball
watched.
just bounced off my
A
chest.
lot of people
And then I
watched.
fell over the fence.
Yeah, he's not a good player.
Very embarrassing.
So what do we think, guys? I feel like, mind you, we can talk all we want about this game. The winner has to face 10 run rules, so this could be a one and done situation for both these teams.
It's
Anyway.
like a march to your death game.
Yeah, it's
Wow. We're
Well-
counting both of these teams out already, huh?
Yeah, I mean, 10 run rule,
when-
lost twice to the Dark Knights.
Yeah, but
No,
what if
no one in this room
what
can
if-
say we beat 10 run rule this year. So
What if
Yeah.
10 run rules on the field with the wind blowing in?
Oh my
Well,
god.
what if there's
Well,
a tree?
They may protest the game and then not play.
Wow. Well, the wind blowing in is the great equalizer.
But the wind blowing in can happen on any field on any given Sunday
wind-
because you don't know
Right.
what the weather is.
Well, 10-run rule has the first choice of field. If there is one field that's blowing out, they will find that field and they will be on it.
Yep.
They're gonna take BP on
what-
6 different fields at the same time.
Honestly, I
What do
don't.
we got?
Honestly, I don't blame them. I think the weather is supposed to be a little cooler this week. The wind might be a little different. They're going to be there looking at the best field that they can win their championship in, or at least get to the finals, because we may dictate where the championship is based on the conditions as well. I have the Lemonheads winning. If it's throwbacks aren't a team that are going to come back from an early deficit, especially if it's more than 2 or 3 runs, I'd say. But if they're on the right field and the game is close early, it's anyone's game, no doubt.
Phil disagrees.
That's why we have 4 heads here.
They scored 4 against us, although they had Mike Polly that day.
And he was facing Tom,
And he was
who
facing Tom.
admitted that he hit 700 off.
It's such a skewed stat.
It was
Tom-
ridiculous.
Tom
And we
gave
all knew it was going to happen. I'm like, we're going to lose
Tom
this game.
gave up
now.
1 home run all
Well,
season.
here's another
and it
thing
was
to
to
his,
Mike.
to his brother,
Yeah.
3-run
Here's
shot.
another thing
Yep.
about the throwbacks, that they're gamers and that you know that it's not going to be an easy game no
Right.
matter what. JD plays his ass off. You know that Jake plays really hard. Dan Moore plays really hard. Brian Winnie's the captain of that team. He's got great heart.
Got to
so
see.
that is going to be a tough matchup either
They
way.
have a good
I'm
lineup.
interested to hear your thoughts.
My heart would be with the throwbacks. My brain lies with the Lemonheads
that's a
but it's tough because outside of Ray on the Lemonheads, they don't really have much pitching. They try to avoid using Tim and Dave outright.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if the throwbacks can get to Tim, they'll probably start with Ray, throw him the full 4, try to establish our lead and hold it.
Fair.
That's where
But-
the golden games do get
But that's
fun.
where the golden game gets fun. Exactly. We don't know exactly what they're gonna do.
It's really
It
two
could
games.
turn a
So-
1-0 game
It's 2
into a
games to
6-0 game
But
real
now,
quick.
like the pitcher that in normal qualifiers would only have to pitch 2 innings, and you can take him out. Now he has to throw 3, or you can use all 3 of your pitchers and try to mix it up that way. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
I feel like you're waiting for Jake to have a week where, like, remember when Tyler Can, like, exploded?
Mm.
That's like the week you're waiting for out of Jake.
Jake's
And it
a
will
really-
happen.
He's a really good hitter.
He's like a freak.
Well, usually when a team wins the regionals like this, somebody on that team is
Yes.
having that kind of week. So
And if Jake goes.
He's having that kind
they
of
can
year.
go.
I mean,
Yeah.
the kid's tearing the cover off the ball.
I have it as a pick 'em, but
this rookie, I tell you what, between him and Ryan, this rookie of the year conversation is going to be really
Yeah,
good.
very
That's
tough.
true.
Weeks.
Probably for
Very
the
close.
first time ever, but we've had
Yeah.
like an influx of productive rookie
Rookies,
players.
yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of these rookies are coming in with some experience, whether it's Gaul or another league. I mean, that's what we've wanted for years. This league is for everyone, so.
Yeah.
Jake's a freak.
Good player.
I mean, that's really all there is to it.
JD, great move stealing him from the
All right.
Crusaders.
Crusaders have a hidden gem there.
Hey, he was an unrestricted free agent, and he didn't
Yeah.
get
He had no
next
ties.
qualifying offer, and he went to
He's,
throwbacks.
he's gonna break out and be a really, really
JD's an owner.
awesome player.
JD's an owner that likes to spend money, so because he doesn't really pay his employees, so he just spends it on his
Wow.
team. So.
And you know he's watching.
Ah.
Wow.
Wow.
That's weak.
Hi JD.
That's
You
weak.
can Apple Pay me for this week. It's good.
That's weak. Hey, listen, I'm a Go Geo guy.
That was
That's all
low
there is
blow.
to it.
That was
Yeah,
low
then we
blow.
got some employees.
Wow, being so offended for making a joke.
I should have worn a Go Geo shirt.
Wow, I agree. Why didn't you wear a Go Geo? Why isn't Go Geo our number 1 sponsor of Golden Stick? That's what I like.
Listen, we're here for all your delivery needs, Go Geo.
How about
Exactly.
that sounds like the field crew is
Yeah, where's the
sponsored by Go Geo.
sponsorship?
Yeah, we just snuck in that
No,
plug.
the field crew is
You're
sponsored by
welcome,
Go
JD.
Geo. That's it. We're Golden
Field
Stick.
crew
Golden Stick Long
sponsored by
Well,
Island.
you
Go
can
Geo.
pay up then.
Yeah, wow.
Have a contributor.
now he's
We're the
now
ones
turning
doing
it
the
on.
work for you.
Now
Maybe
he's turning
Golden
it
Stick should be
Oh, so
sponsoring us.
he's paying you
Yeah.
salary then. Perfect.
No,
Oh,
this is
see,
pro.
that's-
This is pro bono. We'll discuss the
okay.
earnings later.
I see.
on. That's
Finder's fees. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, hazard pay.
Listen, you guys paid Hazard, that's fine. He does
we
too.
did. It was hot that day.
Hey, we're a fair bunch of guys.
Okay, well, we're not gonna get into this right here.
Wait,
That's not gonna be
I
discussed
thought
on
we
this
were
podcast.
filming a podcast.
Did we make all of our picks for this?
Pick 'em.
I can't
well,
remember.
I'm not picking this
You
game.
took.
I took
well,
the
you
lemon-
gave us 2 picks. 'cause
I
you
took the
gave us your
Lemonheads.
heart.
I'm gonna
and
take
your
the
mind.
Lemonheads.
Okay,
I'll
so
take
we
the
have
Lemonheads.
Caputo taking the Lemonheads. Bob.
That's a
I will
tough
take the
one.
Lemonheads.
Wow.
And that's a tough one.
You know what? I'm gonna take.
But
I'm gonna
JD
take the
only
Lemonheads.
asked me to just give him a shout out. He didn't ask me to pick them. So
That's fine.
I'm gonna
take.
I'm gonna take the
We gave him
throwbacks,
a full
but I
business
love you,
plug. He
Lemonheads.
could,
Don't feel slighted by my pick.
he'll
I
be
agree.
happy with that.
Hey, throwbacks are yard staple. They're a hometown favorite. You got to root for the throwbacks.
I agree.
If you gave me which of those two had a better shot at beating 10-run rule, I'd go with the Lemonheads. Who wins this game, I think, is a lot closer than that.
Remember this, even if they lose to the Lemonheads, better things are happening for the throwbacks. Next year, they'll only improve.
It's a classic 8-9.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
All right, great points, everybody. So I agree. Should we,
Do you wanna
perhaps another
go-
game we can film, because we're gonna have capabilities to film one or two games, so that's another game we can.
Do you wanna
watch.
move along, like, the
Well,
winners
I
we
kinda
have,
wanna, I agree,
Talk about the other
I think we should
four
break down
teams.
the last 4 teams, since we have